Hey, this is really late when I'm editing this video, and I've only just realized that it's like an hour long, and I was not anticipating that. And I guess that's fine for a top 10 type thing, but I still don't think that the first video on a YouTube channel should be an hour long. But here we are. So yeah, I'm just gonna go with it, and I apologize ahead of time for being so long-winded.
Hello everyone, I'm Aaron, and this is my new YouTube channel, Dank Toys. That's right, we're gonna be talking about toys because there aren't enough toy reviewers on YouTube, obviously. That's not fair, it's kind of a niche thing. So to start my YouTube channel today, I really wanted to look at my top figures of 2019. But at the same time, it's a new decade. A lot of people are reflecting on the decade as a whole. So I kind of wanted to cover the top 10 figures just in my collection, period, because I don't think I have anything older than a decade anyways, but that's what we're doing today. I'm gonna review top 10 of 2019 and top 10 in my collection, no holds barred. So I really don't want to waste any time. I'm not going to do any honorable mentions bullshit or anything. I'm just going to go. So for my first honorable mention for 2019. So for honorable mention for 2019, I went with kind of a weird pick because I don't like this line like at all. But I went for the Multiverse Croc, Killer Croc, Collect and Connect, whatever they call BAFs nowadays. I went for Croc because he's big, and I mean big. And I'm a sucker for big action figures, unfortunately. So that's where this guy gets me. And the other thing is that Multiverse, I didn't like it as a company. I thought that they really bungled a lot of things in their later years. I think that Multiverse, and before that it was DC Universe Classics. I think their DC Universe Classics were a lot better. I think that their Collect and Connects were a lot better. And in general, they were more willing to do unique sculpts. It still wasn't great. You know, it was still like old articulation, but that was of the time. You know, that was what was happening with toys at that point. So and then they kept doing the same shit for years, and I totally get why DC ditched the line, why they took the license from Mattel, and I don't blame them because I didn't like it. So if I don't like it, then it doesn't deserve to exist, obviously. But that being said, in their last couple of waves, they were starting to do better things. To be fair, his Instagram tag is JNL Toys. Jason Langston, great guy. He really wanted to do more with the Multiverse line, and he started to. I still think that DC kind of hampered him on a lot of stuff, but at the very least, he got out some noteworthy releases. I didn't like Red Hood too much, but Red Robin was good. Alfred was good. KG Beast had some cool stuff on top of the old Multiverse He-Man, Batman body. I hated that body. I think Starfire was okay. But other than that, they kind of just canned him before he could really get underway with the line. Canceled the license, everything, and now McFarlane has it. But Croc unfortunately is not a part of that new push for articulation that he was. He is a reuse of the King Shark Collect and Connect BAF. Collect and Connect. I still really like him. He's big and he's imposing, and that's what Croc. That's what I want Croc to be in my collection. Okay, for the honorable mention for the rest of my collection, dig through here. I have the Figma Guts. This one's a little bit older. This is like an old Figma. It's still got the hand joints that just crank. You know, it doesn't hand joints that crank. It has the joint in the hand, so you can't do what I call pistol movement. You know, like they do that a lot on Hasbro stuff. But I really like this figure, and I'm a big fan of Berserk, so it was going to be one of these. But the Berserker Guts that just came out, I had to do too much work to fix that. You know, I had to trim out some of his armor. I had to replace the joints on his shoulders so that he had more movement. I had to do a lot, and even then, it's prone to just be okay. It's still not a fantastic release, and also they completely messed up the sword paint, and I wish they just wouldn't have made the sword bloody at all. That would have been fine for me. And then Griffith, he's okay. I just don't think he was worth all the press before they I don't think he was worth the aftermarket price before they re-released him. Now you can get him for like $50, and I think that's perfectly acceptable to pay for Griffith. Femto sucks. Femto is the worst Figma that I've ever handled. His wings don't do anything, and they're in the way of the arm articulation. So I don't like Femto. As a character, I think he's cool. As a figure, he sucks. He sucks balls. So that's upsetting. And then, is that it? No, there's still so much more, but I don't have Golden Age Guts. I don't have Figma Casca, and I don't have any of the God Hand, because all four of those are super expensive, and I don't have money to buy into that. So I went with Black Swordsman Guts, because he's the one release that doesn't fuck anything up. He does pretty much everything that I need him to do. He looks imposing. His cape is a dryer sheet, but I mean, I easily bought a replacement for that. And you know, I shouldn't be praising figures for letting me buy my way out of their problems, but I really like the way that he looks with the second aftermarket cape that I bought. So he's my honorable mention for my whole collection. Okay, moving on into the actual list, not honorable mentions anymore. We're done with that. I wanted to... Number 10 of 2019 of that list is Mafex RoboCop. And I specifically got the one from RoboCop 2, but I think that they're all the same, just with slightly different accessories and paint. I mean, that's kind of what Mafex does. They really like to reuse their things, but that's what a lot of action figure companies do, so it's just something that we live with. But I prefer the RoboCop 2 version. One, because it was the cheapest when I ended up buying a Mafex RoboCop. Two, I really like the paint on it. The two-tone, it goes from blue to like this purplish and then to the silver. I really like that. I really like that paint deco on it. Did I just spit on the camera? I really like that paint on it, and the RoboCop 2 version has everything that I would want out of a RoboCop. It's got, you know, the damaged chest plate and helmet. It's got the gun firing effect, and it's got some movie props that, look, I didn't really watch. I've seen all three RoboCops. I've seen RoboCop 1, 2, and 3, and I don't remember 2 or 3 because they're not very good, because the first one is the best, and that's it. No, I remember in RoboCop 2, he gets brainwashed, I think, and then there's that scene where he charges into the electrical... not field. He charges into the what's the word I'm looking for? He goes into like an electrical grid, you know, like a transformer you see behind your neighborhood, and he grabs the electricity beams, and it shocks himself and it frees him from being mind controlled, and then he goes to the other cops and he goes, "Are we cops?" or something, and then they assault. I don't remember who they assault, but they assault someone, and that's the only part of RoboCop 2 that I remember. But I like RoboCop, and this figure definitely does everything that I need a RoboCop to do, and I think that it does even more than that, because at the end of the day, this dude's like in a suit, and it does not have as much articulation as something else in my collection, but I think that the figure itself has more articulation than that guy in the suit. So I like it. I really like it. And I think the NECAs were okay. I just think I don't like 7-inch scale. So having one that's true 1/12, even if Mafex is a little larger, I like that. I like having him in my collection. For number 10 of the entire collection list, I'm just going to call this list all-time. I'm going to say other one's 2019 list, this one's all-time list. The next for number 10 in that all-time list, I have another figure from a company that I'm not crazy about, and I promise that I'm not crazy about them because I've got like 4 figures from them in this whole thing. But I have the Marvel Legends thing. I'm not stunned on Marvel Legends. I think that they do a lot of good stuff sometimes. And I think the rest of the time it's a lot of body reuse, and it's a lot of... I don't like their movie stuff either, but I think their movie stuff has a lot more unique stuff in it, and I like that. But either way, it's just a line that I personally have gotten out of collecting. But the Walgreens thing that I have gotten, and now other people are getting through the new Fantastic Four wave, I think he's great. I think he's phenomenal. I think the way that he moves and the way that he feels in your hand is just, it's really nice. And I'm really happy that we got this figure from him. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't own the rest of the Fantastic Four in Marvel Legends. But he's really good. And I feel dumb for not having other ways to describe him, but he just feels good to move around in your hand, and he's hefty. And I really like hefty figures. Thus why I like Killer Croc earlier in the list. But he basically does everything that I need Thing to do. And I'm going to be saying that a lot throughout the rest of this list, is he does exactly everything that he needs to do for me. Which is super subjective and makes no sense, but that's okay. Thing is nice. And I don't really like the new one. I think his paint is a little off, and they changed his head, and I'm just not crazy about it. Plus, I just don't like the new Fantastic Four suits in general. I'm very glad that I was able to get the Walgreens figures instead of waiting for this new wave. But I'm probably gonna have to get Doom, and that's what upsets me about Marvel Legends, is every time I think that I'm done with them, something else comes out that I personally need to have. Hey, it's oh wow, I forgot to shut off autofocus. Okay, you're fine. It's the next day, and I wanted to jump in here to say, yeah, thank you. Sorry, my camera's doing weird shit, and I didn't charge it either. That's okay, this will be quick. There are 2 things that I really wanted to say about Marvel Legends Thing before I let myself be done with his review. And that's one thing that I really like about Marvel Legends, and I know I criticize them a lot, and I'm going to keep criticizing them through the rest of this video, you just wait. But one thing I do like about them is that they're toys. I can't really say that about some of the more expensive imports that I get. Those are action figures. They're very fragile. If you bang them around, they're gonna, break or something. That's not the case with Marvel Legends. You can whack this shit on somebody over the head and it's fine. And it's just plastic and you're good. And that's what I really commend. I don't commend Hasbro for it, but I like that these, you can chuck them everywhere you want. and it's fine. And that's just how Marvel Legends are. The other thing that I really wanted to talk about is how much I really hate female Marvel Legends. Hey champ, Mr. Hasbro. That's right, it's me, John Hasbro, and I got you something. Wow, is this a female Marvel Legend? Yup. Wow, with the same single jointed elbows? Yup. And no waist swivel? Yup. And spaced out eye paint? Yup. And no butterfly articulation? Yup. Wow. Okay, so for 2019 list, number 9 is another Marvel Legends. It's Beast. I like Beast. This one's difficult because still it's from a line that I claim to not like, but here he is. To be fair, this one's got crazy good articulation, and I'm really glad that they did something like this with Beast because I love Beast. Ever since the Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro game on PS1, where he was in the tutorial stage. And that's it. And that's why I needed him, obviously. But he's got all the articulation that they included in their latest Power Rangers line, the Lightning Collection, because they own that now. In the Lightning Collection, and it's really well done. And if they would include these butterflies and these, he's got a diaphragm and a waist? No? Because he doesn't turn at the waist. None of them turn at the waist. But he's got a crunch. He's got a crunch and a diaphragm. And he's got toe pivot, which that's not even on the Lightning Collection. But he's Beast. He needs to toe pivot. If they would do articulation like this for all of their figures, I'd buy them all. I'd buy all the Marvel Legends. They would be the forefront of my collection. I wouldn't have money for imports. That would be it. I would be dead. I wouldn't be dead. But it's weird because he's really the only X-Men in my collection right now. Until Mafex Wolverine comes in. I've got things to say about that. But you know, he still looks good up in the display. He just looks good because he's a good figure. And if you don't have him, you should get him. He's good. Okay, so obviously this part of me talking is filmed separately from when I'm over at the desk fiddling with the toys. I fiddled with them beforehand, and I shot all that footage first, and I'm very glad that I did. I hope that I've been including this in the video, otherwise, later, Aaron, you're stupid. I'm glad that I did, because it makes me look stupid. Because honestly, if I had remembered how this figure was before I made my list, he wouldn't be on my list. But I'm gonna stick to it, and I'm gonna include him. For number 9 of my all-time list, I have the D-Arts Vial, and this dude sucks. I dropped his little whiskey glass. He's not very good, and that's upsetting because I really like Mega Man X, and I really wanted D-Arts to be a good line, and for some reason in the back of my head I was like, oh no, but Vial's good, dude. He's the best one in the. If all of them were like Vial, there wouldn't be an issue. And then I get to my desk and I start playing with him and posing him around for different shots, and he sucks, and he falls apart on you, and you can't get the knee blast. I can't get the knee blast thing in the socket, and maybe that's just me being stupid because, hey, I'm very stupid. But he's so upsetting because he's so close to being so good. And that's how a lot of the D-Arts are for me. The Mega Man X line, I have not bought any other D-Arts. I've only bought Mega Man X, and I had Zero before, and that's it. And Zero upset me, especially about the hair, because I remember it could only like move one side. It wasn't on a ball, and it didn't move like the way that a ball joint should. It just rotated in one direction, and I didn't like that. But Vile was so close to being so good, and then he wasn't. So if I had a chance to remake this list, he would not make it. But I've already made the list, so he's unfortunately on it. This is the last Hasbro. I promise. But I need to do this one, okay? Maybe people won't agree with it, but for my number 8 for 2019, this is kind of just a spot for Lightning Collection because I'm obsessed with Lightning Collection. It's crazy how Hasbro can do this with Power Rangers and then not with anything else. They don't do well, they do it with Overwatch, but I don't play Overwatch, so that doesn't matter to me. But my number 8 spot for my 2019 list is gonna have to be Lord Zedd. Again, this slot was just meant for Lightning Collection. It was gonna be one of the releases. I'm not okay. I really like all of the Rangers so far. I think that, again, the articulation is great in all of them. The sculpting is really well done. Some of the paint apps are iffy. I've been pretty lucky personally, but that's also due to the fact that I get in the stores early and I sift through all of the options, and I'm that guy. But Lord Zedd had to be the one. It was almost Magna Defender, because I really like Magna Defender. I really like Lost Galaxy. I really like Lost Galaxy in general as a show, but Lord Zedd beat him. He really did. He's just got all the articulation you need. He's got, you know, the little hose and wraps and hoses. Not hose. He ain't got hose, except for Rita, I guess. He's got all the little hoses and the swirly the swirly blue tubes all around him and everything. And this is the perfect Zedd figure. And I'm very glad that they were able to capture something from my childhood with such accuracy, such articulation. Visible pegs, sure, but he's crazy good. And he only cost me $20. Hard to complain about. So, Lightning Collection, that's definitely something that I'm going to do my best to talk a lot about because it's the main line that I collect right now. Again, I've stopped buying Marvel Legends. Everything else is imports, and those releases are sporadic. A majority of the time, I'm going to be getting a lot of Lightning Collection in, and that's me. That's Aaron. Moving on. So for number 8 of my all-time list, I had to go with one of the Gokus from Figuarts, and I went with my favorite form because he's my favorite, and that's basically the only reason. I went with Super Saiyan 3. I really like Super Saiyan 3, and that's one of my earliest memories of Dragon Ball Z is that episode where he goes Super Saiyan 3, where he's fighting Boo, and he's got to stall for time so that Trunks can get the Dragon Radar. Yes, so the Trunks can get the Dragon Radar, and everybody else is up waiting in Kami's lookout, but now it's Dende's lookout. And he's like, well, I'm gonna have to stall Majin Buu for a while. So he busts out the form that you need to die to get, Super Saiyan 3, and it blew me away. And it was such a cool scene, and I know it's like, of course now that I'm an adult, and I go back and I watch Dragon Ball, and I'm like, this isn't even used. He doesn't even kill anyone with this. And it's just some form that just throws out there and he becomes the main character again. And I thought it was going to be Gohan and blah, blah, blah. But it's still so cool. And it's just long hair. It's long hair and new eyebrows. And no eyebrows. And like this jutting forward forehead. I can't explain it. But I love Super Saiyan 3. I really do. And all the Goku figures are basically the same. They're 2.0. I like 2.0. 1.0 is okay. Not crazy about the knees. But all the 2.0 Gokus are the exact same body. They do the exact same range of motion and everything. Super Saiyan 3 has a lot more hands though, which is cool. But they were all going to be the same. So I had to give it to the one that was my personal favorite. And I love them. I love Goku. Okay, so for number 7 of 2019, this one I got recently, and I'm not ashamed that this is like a last minute thing for 2019. But where'd his fucking face go? Sorry, his faceplate fell off. So that's one issue I have with it. Either way, for number 7 of 2019, I went with my Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat 3 Scorpion. I like Scorpion. I like Sub-Zero a lot more though. But either way, when I got into collecting, it was too late to get into Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat line, because Scorpion and Sub-Zero, the two people that I would personally need to get into the line, way too overpriced. They were like 200. They're like that now. Maybe they're not like that. Maybe they weren't like that when I started, but they were too expensive. And I was not about to start buying into... I don't like to pay over MSRP for figures. That's just me. But then Storm came along and said, hey, we're going to also do Mortal Kombat 3 versions of these characters. And I was like, that's even better than the other ones that you were doing, in my opinion. I really like Mortal Kombat 3. And I'm bad at these games. I'm really bad. So it's nice to have something that I can show, hey, I like this thing, even if I'm bad at it. So I'm very glad that they released a Mortal Kombat 3 Scorpion, and I love Storm. They're big. They're way too big, personally, but I think for a lot of things that they do, it works. Like they tend to make big people, and that's fine for me. I've got their Lobo from Injustice pre-ordered because he's just a comic version of Lobo. There's no difference. He's a bit bigger than he should be. But I'm gonna throw it into my display, and I'm gonna be happy with it. And that's Dank's Law. But Scorpion's good, and I'm definitely going to buy Sub-Zero when he comes out. If they keep doing ninjas, I'm probably gonna keep buying ninjas. And I understand that I'm just buying the same figure over again with new paint and new accessories. But that's just how I do. I'd be pooping, you know how I be. So yeah, absolutely Sub-Zero. I'd buy a noob if they made it. Was Ermac in 3? If he was, I'd buy him. Smoke, Rain. I'd get these. I don't like Reptile though. Reptile's weird. Not getting Reptile. We have another Figma for all-time number 7, and that is the Figma Pyramid Head from Silent Hill. I really like Silent Hill, and I'm really upset that the only 2 figures that anybody has ever made of Silent Hill is the Pyramid Head and the nurse also from Figma. I wish they would have kept going. I wish they would have given me a James. I wish they would have given me... I would have taken Silent Hill 1 and 3 monsters and characters. I would have bought everything, because I really like Silent Hill as a franchise, and it's owned by the worst company in the whole world. That's not true, except it is. He's a little bit undersized. That I feel. Again, this is not something that I've ever researched because I just parrot opinions on the internet. But I feel like he's too small. But at the same time, he's supposed to just be like, spoilers for Silent Hill 2, a game that's like 20 years old now. He's supposed to just be James, so I don't know if like body-wise he's supposed to be James. Also, that's not entirely true because other people have totally seen him in the context of Silent Hill 2. It's weird. But either way, he's great. The only real hampering on him is his skirt. But even that, they made accommodations so that you can get whatever pose you're looking to get out of him. So I like him. And he comes with his little spears that I never use. Because what's Pyramid Head without his great knife? So number 6 for 2019, something I didn't expect to really enjoy. I totally expected to buy this and just accept it because I love the property that it's based off of. I have a very low opinion of the company that produces it because they haven't done anything else that's good, in my opinion, that I have received. I'm gonna stop bullshitting. For number 6 of my 2019 list, I went with the Zidane. I need to fix that because his name is pronounced Zidane. Even though it's spelled like Zidane, it's Zidane. That's his canon pronunciation. The Zidane and Princess Garnet or Dagger 2-pack. I paid like $150 for this. And I was just like, look, I really like Final Fantasy IX. It's one of my favorite games of all time. It's one of my favorite I think it's one of the best RPGs of all time. So I'm just gonna buy this. I'm just gonna get this. I'm gonna pay out the wazoo for it. That's the last thing I'm ever gonna get from Final Fantasy IX. This is the only two characters that I need, of course. And then I got them and I saw how good they are. And it doesn't make any sense because it's from a company that doesn't do good stuff, and it's at a scale that people have a hard time doing good stuff with. But they did great stuff with this, and it shocked me. It really did. Now I have to get the Vivian Steiner 2-pack. I have to, at the very least. I'm probably gonna skip all the others. I say that, but this one's really good, and they've got good paint apps. I still don't get why they include a new head instead of just doing like faceplates. But at the same time, like I've been looking at the 1,000 Toys, Nero and Dante, and those faceplates aren't good, so maybe this is for the best. I don't make action figures, so I don't know what's easier, a whole new head or a new faceplate. Either way, I love them. They're tiny, but it's scaled properly. And I'm very glad that we got this line in such... I'm glad that we got this line that's so good and comes with so much out of Bring Arts. I can't wait to get the next 2-pack, and I sure as hell hope that I don't get any more. Number 6 for my all-time list. It's another Figma. It's the Figma Samus. I love Metroid. I love a lot of the properties that are on my list, evidently, which is weird. It's not. But Metroid is seriously a wonderful game to me, and it's weird because not a lot of Nintendo properties have a lot of merch. I've been noticing that. Nintendo's pretty stingy with allowing people to make action figures of their licenses and their properties. So the fact that we got not one Samus, not 2 Samuses, but 3 Samuses out of Figma, that's really nice to me. And so this is the Metroid Prime 3 version. I prefer this one. Other M isn't a bad design. It's from a bad game, obviously. But when I think of Metroid, I think of back when I first got my GameCube. I got the pack that includes Metroid Prime and a demo for Metroid Prime 2, and I remember playing that. until like 5 in the morning on the weekends, and my mom waking up and going, Aaron, are you still up? And I'm like, yes, Mom, I'm on whatever planet Metroid Prime 1 takes place on, or planets, and hunting, bounty hunting pirates, and shooting aliens. It's so good. It's such a good series to me, and I'm happy that this is all that I need out of the line. I have this Samus, obviously. I have Zero Suit. I have a big Metroid from World of Nintendo. World of Nintendo. I have the big one, not the UV one, but the big one. You'll see him in pictures. You'll know. It's a very good figure, and it fills me with joy. Metroid's fun, and I hope that the series isn't dead. I know Prime 4 is coming out, but it's been delayed, and Nintendo doesn't really like Metroid that much. But that's okay. I like Metroid enough for Nintendo, so... Okay, we're at the halfway mark. No, we're not, because honorable mentions. We're at the halfway mark of the list, numerically speaking. And for my 2019 number 5, I went with Mafex John Wick from John Wick 2. I didn't like the first figure, and I'm glad that I didn't order him because he was not good. But the second one I think went over pretty well. His face is actually, it's Keanu Reeves, and I think they did a good job painting it. He comes with his dog. He comes with a bunch of guns, and then Mafex makes a surprisingly posable suit body. They had a lot of experience. They had a lot of experience with their Dark Knight Returns? No. That's the comic book. With their Dark Knight Rises, Dark Knight, and Batman Begins line of figures of those 3 movies. They've done a lot. I think they're done now. But they've had a lot of experience to do this because a lot of those people are in suits. Christopher Nolan likes his suit boys. So it was nice to get this figure because I love John Wick. It's fun and it's stupid and it's fun. And I think the first movie is legitimately good, and the second 2 and 3, I think they're good movies. I think they're just fun action, you know. So it's nice to get a good figure of that character. It's my first Keanu Reeves ever. I'm glad that this figure came out so nice. He's posable in every way that I need him to be. I have not thought of a pose that I think John Wick would ever be in, and not been able to get him into it. So I like it, and it's a good figure. And Mafex didn't screw me over on QC. And we're talking big boys again. For number 5 of my all-time list, I have to go with the Infinity War Figuarts Hulk. He's so good. He's so big, and he's so good, and he shows up for like 5 seconds in the movie. I don't care. I'm very glad that we got this amazing Hulk out of them. Of course, it's a movie figure. I typically do not buy movie figures, but at least at the time, this was the best Hulk. I still think this is the best Hulk. Marvel Legends is okay, but this one just moves every way that I can imagine I need Hulk to move. So I bought him from a guy that ended up painting his pants purple. Looks okay if you don't look at it, but that's fine. I paid like $50 for this. So I've got some pants on the way finally. I bought this thing like a year ago. I finally got some cloth pants coming in. Gonna cover this up. And then he's gonna be the best figure in my collection. But he's really good. And, you know, Hulk doesn't need to do much. He's got 3 faces, 4 hands total. That's all that I need Hulk to have. He's going to smash, and he's going to grab things to smash them later. He's great. He's great. He's wonderful. He's got good paint, I guess. I don't care about the paint. I care about the paint. He's fun. He's a fun figure. And if you like fun figures, so do I. I like Hulk. 2019 number 4 is going to my Figure Arts Super Boo. Because I love Boo. I really do. If you haven't been able to tell from the fact that Super Saiyan 3 is one of my earliest memories of Dragon Ball, then you should know that Boo is one of my earliest villains for Dragon Ball. And I really like the Super Boo. I also didn't mind the Fat Boo. I think he moved a lot more than he had any right to. But this year, this one came out this year, and last year. We're in 2020 now. This one came out last year and blew that other one out of the water. And it's honestly, it's a better figure than I deserve from Figuarts, because I don't think that they're the best figure company. Though I think their DBZ, they really try on their DBZ stuff, and also their Sentai stuff, like their Kamen Riders. Kamen Riders are crazy good, but I don't buy Kamen Riders. I buy one Kamen Rider. So I was really happy that this guy came out so good, and he's actually properly sized, unlike some other stuff in the Figuarts Dragon Ball line. But I need more Boos, Figuarts. I need Kid Boo, I need Gohan absorbed Boo, I need Gotenks absorbed Boo. Stop holding out on my Boos, okay? That makes me sound like an alcoholic, because it sounds like I'm saying booze, like alcohol, like booze, but I'm not. I'm saying like Majin Boos, plural. I wonder if that's how he named Majin Buu, because whatever. And we got more Figuarts. For my number 4, for my number 4 of all time, my all-time list, I went with the Sora from Figuarts, that brand that I just said. This counts towards both the final form and the regular form. This is a really good figure. This literally looks ripped out of the game, which is not something that I can say about the Bring Arts figures. And I really like the line that they did in general for Kingdom Hearts. The Sora's good, Donald's pretty good, Goofy's good, Mickey is short, but he can do everything that I need him to. Oh, man, I really am saying that a lot. And then after those, and after they released Final Form Sora, they canceled the fucking line. And they teased a Roxas, never released him. And that really made me upset, because I really like Kingdom Hearts 2, specifically 2. I don't really like the rest. I like 1. And the rest I played. I played so that I would be caught up for 3, and then 3 comes out, and it's not very good. So, yeah, so unfortunately, the line is dead, and now if I want anyone else in Kingdom Hearts 2, I'm probably going to have to buy their Kingdom Hearts 3 versions from Bring Arts. That's my life. Forced to buy shit. Shit. For my 2019 list, for the number 3 spot, we're in the top 3. For my number 3 spot in 2019, I had to give it to the Mafex Venom, which, if you can't hear that, that's the shoulder on mine. Yep. That's really my only problem with this figure, is that I've heard a lot of people have this problem. It's like his bicep is like a ratchet, and it's weird, and it makes, wow, shit. It really makes turning it a little bit difficult, but you know, usually when you start to work it, it's gonna break on you. Luckily, it hasn't broken on me yet. I'm gonna stop complaining about this figure in my number 3 spot, I promise. But I really like Venom, and I really like Mafex's take on Venom. This is his first appearance. I'm a sucker for the first appearance Venom. He came with more hands than he was solicited for. I was very happy to get gun hands. I pose him with guns all the time. That's how I do. That's how I be. And I didn't get Bonk QC, again, aside from that shoulder. So Mafex has been pretty good to me in terms of that. but I really like him. And his height, I don't mind his height. He's taller than Spider-Man, and not by much, but I think that's fine for a character that's historically very inconsistent in the comics, because he's a symbiote, and I know Brock has a canon height. I'm aware of that, and I'm sure he does not match up with it. That is right in my fucking eyes. And I'm sure that he doesn't match up with it, but I really don't mind it. He poses fine next to... I'm gonna have to turn down a couple settings on my camera to adjust for this horrible sunlight. Can't trust the sun. But yeah, he does everything that I need him to, because that's my only critique for every figure. He gets into every pose that I can think to put him in. I really like Mafex. Now we're dark. He gets into every pose that I can think to put him in, and he's really a good figure, and I'm a fan of the first appearance again. So I was really happy to get this guy, and I'm excited for Carnage. I'm excited for a lot of Mafex things, as long as they don't fuck it up. I really like this next one. So for number 3 of my all-time list, I went with the Nender. I'm peeking again, aren't I? That's what I get for being so bald and shiny. So for number 3 of my list, I went for the Nendoroid Kirby. He's very fun. He's just a ball. He's just a little ball with magnets in him and in his hands, and you can move him all over the place. This is perfect for Kirby. I love Kirby, and this is exactly how a Kirby figure should be, because how else do you do a Kirby figure? Could you imagine Kirby with butterfly joints and double elbows? It would be a monster. It would be a monster that needs to be stopped. And he's not that. And he's just a little puffball. And sure, he doesn't like squish and whatever as he does in the game, but he's amazing and he's great. And I really like the Meta Knight that's also from Nendoroid. I never know how to pronounce it. And I cannot wait for Waddle Dee. I'm probably going to end up buying a couple more Kirbys while I wait for Waddle Dee, because I really like this line of figures. I like the little puff balls with magnets. I do. I really do. Okay, top 2. 2019, number 2. Top 4, technically, then. For 2019, number 2, I had to go with 1000 Toys Hellboy. He's great. He is wonderful. I was not expecting to like a Hellboy figure this much. I'm not the biggest fan of Hellboy. I really do like him, though. And so this is just something that I was like, I found him for a good price to pre-order. I didn't get the Dark Horse exclusive version. I didn't get the horns, and I didn't get the sword. I don't care that much about the sword. I cared about the horns. But I figured it was like a $30 difference. 30? No, I think it was more than that, because I remember that Dark Horse exclusive being very expensive. Either way, it was a big difference in price between what I could get the standard release for and what I would have to give Dark Horse money to get their exclusive version. So I didn't. So I was like, screw it. I'm just going to get the standard release. And then it came to me and I was like, holy shit, this guy's really good. The only issue I have with him is his hands are a little bit difficult to pop on and off, but they're still sturdy. I never feel like I'm gonna break them. I just feel like I'm too weak to put this hand on him. He's a really good figure, and I really like the way that they did the ab crunch. Because of course, at first when they started to solicit him, it really looked like he was not gonna have any sort of crunch. He didn't have a crunch. He didn't have an ab crunch. And then I didn't know this, but apparently they did this with their Killy. Is that how you pronounce it? From Blame? Yes, Blame. They did that with him too, and so that's something that 1000 Toys is known for. And I think it came out really well. And of course, I love the right hand of Doom. He's got all posable figures. He's got figures. He's got, the joints. I really like Hellboy. And so this was a fun release. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of Hellboy, and I admit that. Not that the comics aren't good. I just want to say that. I'm not like, oh, I hate Hellboy, and I hate Mike Magnolia. Mike, and I hate Mike. No, not even close. I just haven't read a lot of it. I am just inherently not a Hellboy reader fan. I need to. I've seen both of the movies though, and I love Ron Perlman. So this was definitely something that I'm glad that I got in my collection, even if it cost me not a shitload. This cost me like $100. I'm excited for Master Chief. I know that a lot of people think that he looks weird. He's definitely a different design than classic Mark V. But I'm really excited for him. Halo is definitely something that I am known to enjoy. So I'm excited for him. Please, Thousand Toys, do more things that I will give you way too much money for. Okay, so for number 2 of my all-time list, this is something that I constantly find myself pulling off the shelf, toying with him, posing him around. He's too much fun. He is way too much fun of a figure. It's the main reason why I put him on this list at the spot that he's on, at number 2. And I went with the 4-inch Nell Mega Man.exe, specifically the .exe version, because they're not the same. I really don't think that they are the same. I'm way too dark again. I really don't think that they're all the same. I think that this one is the best. He's got a bit of a paint issue sometimes on mine, and his knee doesn't go all the way. You see, like, I'm not going to show the camera this, but one of them goes all the way back. The other one, it's about 20 degrees off from the other one. But all the same, I love this figure. And it was my first Sentinel Mega Man. So that's probably influencing why he's so high on my list. But I really like him, and he's really well done. And I have the other ones. I don't have all the other ones. I have the regular Mega Man, and I have the Star Force Mega Man, and I think that's all that I'm gonna get. Especially since that Sentinel fucked up. They really bungled this line. I have bad memories of trying to collect this line, and then it's dead. And it's dead because of Sentinel. Only because of Sentinel. So this is my Sentinel rant, I guess. So Sentinel, they had a great thing going. They released Mega Man, and he's wonderful. He's not too expensive. He comes with a bunch of stuff, and it's like he's ripped right off of the box art. Not the American box art, the Japanese box art, not the Weird Man, the Mega Man. And it's great. And then they keep going with the line, and they really start making mistakes. They start including less. They jack up the price. They divide. They start doing a lot of repaints. They do like they did the Cutman and Mega Man pack, and I think that was fine because that was just like a form of Mega Man. That's okay. And then they did like Dark Volnut and Dark EXE, which I don't personally remember, but I'm sure they were in the game. I doubt they just threw them in there. Lan was not posable at all in the EXE line, and he came with more things for EXE. And then the cherry on top was the fact that they did that is it 40th anniversary? I don't remember, but they did something that was supposed to coincide with Mega Man 9, but it was just like some artist's OC version of Mega Man, and it looked weird. And then they released Roll role from the Legends series, but they released her in 2 different versions with different accessories in either. And this is, at this point, they've gotten the price up to like $70. It's bad memories, and it's upsetting because it really could have been a great line, and I would still be buying it today if they were still making it today. But and as long as it was good, because it was getting it to be an issue at the end. But it's very upsetting because it could have been so good. I'm being blinded. I look like a fucking zebra, so let's get this done. So we're at the number 1 slots now. The 2 different number 1 slots. And I'm glad it came to this. But for my 2019 number 1, this figure, when people started to talk about top figures of 2019, this was my immediate thought. And I swear, by the end of this list, I'm gonna sound like a fanboy for this line, and maybe that's true, but it all stems from this figure. Every single bit of it. This guy got me into the line that is Mafex, and it is the Mafex Spider-Man. He is so good. Much like Mega Man.exe, I just pull him off the shelf to pose him around from time to time. He's just that fun of a figure, and he's better than Venom in the sense that he just is. That sounds dumb. I know I said that Venom can hit every pose that I need him to. Spider-Man hits more, and he's just so dynamic and so fluid, and it's just amazing. And I don't deserve this in a Spider-Man figure, but it's literally the best. And I mean that in a lot of different ways. It's the best articulated, bar none. What's even its oh shit, Revoltech. Yeah, well, Revoltech's ugly. So you know what? He looks the best. I personally, this 90s Spider-Man look, that's my favorite. That's my favorite Spider-Man out of all of them. So I'm very glad that this was more like a Todd McFarlane vibe, which is ironic because McFarlane makes shitty toys now. He's my perfect Spider-Man, and he comes with everything that I need him to come with. And he comes with a lot of stuff, and I'm upset that I said that again. But yeah, he comes with a bunch of webs. He comes with all the hands that I need, except for he doesn't come with holding hands. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna put guns in his hand, but like maybe I want to put maybe I want to put a gun in his hand. I don't know. Don't judge me. I want to put guns in Spider-Man's hands. Maybe. He's cool though, and he does everything that I need. He's a really cool figure, and I'm very glad that that Mafex was able to get this to us. And I'm excited for their other comic book stuff. I'm primarily a DC fan, I would say, which is ironic because of how much Marvel is in this list. But DC has not made good figures for us in years. I honestly believe that Mafex is gonna, if they don't really screw up in the QC department, like unfortunately that they have been. I haven't gotten Wolverine yet, but I already know that I'm gonna make another video about, not about him, but about Mafex in general. It's just, their releases could be the perfect versions of their characters, and in this case it is. In Spider-Man's case it is. My personal opinion, Venom it is. Deadpool, I guess, but I don't like Deadpool. I think he's cringe. But a lot of their releases, they mess up small things that end up being big problems. And I would just like to see them get away from that. I'm fine with the delays. I would even say delay another month so that I can have the perfect version of this character that I love so much. Because if you fuck up Batman, any of the Batman men, I've got all of them pre-ordered. I've got Hush, I've got Dark Knight Returns, I've got Dark Knight Returns with ripped clothes. I've got all of them pre-ordered. And if you mess any of them up, Mafex, the day of reckoning will come. Okay, so we're at the final slot. And it's also getting late in the day, and the sun's mega in my eyes. So let's do this quickly. This figure, my number one for my all-time collection, for everything that I've ever owned, is a bit of a weird choice. If you know me, it's not a weird choice, and I'm sure that you know exactly what this is going to be since it hasn't been in the list yet. But if you know my personal preferences, and I've been trying to make that clear in the video so far. I'm not a fan of cloth on figures, so I don't like Mezco too much. I used to, I really used to, and this one I bought at the height of that enjoyment of the line, and it is since faltered, and I've been selling off all my Mezcos because I'm not. It's issues that I don't want in my collection. I don't want to deal with in my collection anymore. And yet, every time I look at this figures, I have 3 of them. It's not something that I can get rid of. And I don't know why that is, personally. And so I'm glad that this ended up being my number 1 spot for honorable mentions, and the last thing that I'm going to talk about today, because I've honestly insulted a lot of things in this video. A lot of things. And yet at the same time, I'm super dark. And yet at the same time, I commend people who like the things that I don't like, if that makes sense. I think that that's kind of what being a collector in this hobby is about. Sometimes you just like a toy. Sometimes you have no excuses to like the toy. Sometimes it is inherently a flawed figure, and you still really enjoy it. And that's me with the Mezco 112 Dredd. I bought this figure 3 times. I started with the Cursed Earth version with his bike. That bike is not in the comics. That is just like a Mezco original design bike. But I love it. And it's, I've been meaning to get the 3A version, but I ain't got the money for that. So that's the bike that I have. I got that on sale at Big Bad Toy Store. I'm not sponsored. I'm really not. If you want to sponsor me, why would you? This is my first video. So I got that on sale for like $150, $160, something around there. And it was great. And it was really good. And I really liked it. And then I got the version that ended up being my number 1 personally. Since I guess I have to pick one. It's the black and white San Diego Comic-Con version. He's incredible. And then I got the regular version, finally, which was unfortunate for him because he ended up being my least favorite, probably because I got him after the black and white one. But gosh, he's just such a good figure. And I really love Judge Dredd. I love 2000 AD as a whole. It's a fun series. Dredd is a fun character. Even though I'm pretty much not the same politically leaning as him, I really like Dredd, and this figure is exactly what Dredd is to me. I don't know, because he doesn't have any faces to pop. Can his head even pop off? I'm not gonna force that. It's like a MSRP for $50, but it's not what I paid. That's I'm really glad that ended up being my number one because, again, sometimes it's unexplainable why you like a figure, and sometimes the only thing you have to say about it is it does everything that I need it to do, and stupid shit like that. But Dredd is the encapsulation. Dredd represents that to me. He is just this figure that I cannot help but love, even though everything about him is something that I personally criticize frequently. He's a great figure. He's a great figure and I love him. So that's my list. That is the top 20, 22, 21, no, because Vile is no longer a part of this list. Those are my top figures, and I really wanted the first video on this new YouTube channel that I'm starting, I guess, to be something that I wanted to represent me. Does that make sense? I wanted it to not. I didn't want it to blow out and show everybody how pale I am. I really wanted something to show everybody exactly what kind of collector I am, because I mean, there's so many white fucking bald dudes. No, there's not. There's, I think, just Robo. I think he's the only other bald dude. We're cornering the market, boy. I really wanted something to show everybody exactly who I am as a collector and what I'm about, and hopefully, if you like that, if you like who I am, maybe you'll stick around. Maybe you'll see other videos. I'm not gonna focus on reviews. I'm really not. I'm gonna try and talk about the industry. So I don't I'm not like some insider who knows, oh, Figuarts can't hold up the Disney license, so they're gonna lose it in a year. I don't know anything like that. I am purely going to be speaking from a collector's viewpoint. I'm going to be talking about, this is what companies are doing. They should not be doing that. They need to be doing this and they need to be doing that. I'm going to be critiquing toy lines primarily, and you know, maybe other stuff will come up. I don't know. This is the first video I've ever made for YouTube on this channel. So I'm excited. I'm going to keep with it. I'm not going to make any money at all. But this is something that's going to be fun for me, and I need something fun in my life. That sounded depressing. The sun's in my eye. I'm going to cut it. But y'all have a good day.